All right, it's Tuesday, November 21, 6:50 in the morning, just getting started. Looks like we've had some kind of downtrend. Thinking something like that. Means we've had a break in the low already. Looks like a range. And after looking at my video from yesterday, I guess I must have been a little delirious because I noticed at 7:30 in the morning, after my first trade, I was looking at my PA number 5 and seeing the numbers wrong. Somehow I looked at this and they were about exactly $1,000 between the trailing and the balance. And for whatever reason, I read it as if it was like that close, as if it was like $1 away from the trailing instead of $1,000. Somehow I missed there was a 4 here and a 3 here. And so that's what actually happened yesterday. Was I thought this number 5 account was really close to blowing up, just because I think I saw 868, and on this one it was like 860 or something, and so I just missed the fact that there's a 4 and a 3. So that's how I made that mistake yesterday. Anyway, I was glad I had the video so I can go back and understand why I did what I did, or why I thought what I thought. I really wasn't feeling good yesterday. I'm not sure I'm feeling that much better today, but it's just a mistake. So we'll move on. I'm going to try to focus on my Nlts strategy and try not to necessarily look for paths. If I see something just really obvious for a paths setup, it's hard not to take it, but I'm going to really just try to focus on taking NLTS setups. Just going to make sure my
order submitted
orders are how I want them. Everything looks correct here for me.
Order canceled.
I'm going to pause here. Right, there's a potential PB coming up to the top side if it gets there. But I am very aware of this range, and most breakouts would fail if it does get up there. So I'm just going to watch closely and see what happens. We've already seems to be getting a little bit of a bullish imbalance, but let's see what happens here. I do think this is kind of the areas where the PB maybe fails in situations like this. Right now it's not even working its way up, so I'll pause until something happens. And seeing if it's working back up. It looks like where a PB would happen would be like right at the resistance now, or just maybe right above it. So it's not looking like the kind of situation that I'll be able to trust if it happens. I think one of my PB losses was a situation like this where it was range like. No setup here for me so far, so pausing again. Alright, so this thing's breaking out the bottom. Got a measured move just about of the small range. So I'll be interested to see if there's any kind of bounce around here, back up. And just keep that in mind. There was a second entry long that just failed. Let's see, it's going past it. Not too sure what's going on here, but it's possible the move down was just the first leg. Where would I measure to? Maybe here. Maybe we're looking for something like this. Just wait till I see something. Alright, still haven't seen anything. We're in this range for a long time. Got to push down. Another range. It's breaking out the top. I found potentially a wider channel. It looks like it might be a possibility. There's kind of some stuff going on along the midline. Makes it seem like it could be valid. So see if it gets kind of rejected from here and heads back down. And then hopefully that will maybe line up with some kind of setup for me. So we'll see. All right, I just adjusted my bigger channel down, something more like this, which is interesting because you get a touch here, touch here, touch here, touch here. It's coming up just shy here, but it also went exactly the measured move of this tiny range. Still not seeing any setup from me though. I'm just waiting. Yeah, I'm just gonna let this record right now, just because we're at a potential key area. Yeah, I could see a potential for an OJ down here.
Order submitted.
Put my order up here just in case. Sometimes they move fast. We still have potentially the larger measured move down. This resistance seems to be working. So what I'm kind of hoping is to see some kind of turn down. The close down here with room to the bottom. Who knows what will happen, but just want to be ready for that in case it does. Yeah, close kind of around here. Kind of like at a little below 41. And so what I'm kind of looking for is to find my setups where it jives with my drawings. I think that would be the key. So I'm getting some losses lately. Well, most of my losses lately are on Pat's trades, which I gotta relax doing so many of them. But I think even my Nlts strategy, my losses are coming when I already have like a break and new low, or kind of who knows what the context is, or something isn't quite in line. So if I can find some confluence with what I'm drawing with my channels and find a setup in the right places, I think that can lead to some success, hopefully. So I'd like to see this resistance hold. Even if it breaks, it could break and then come down. Either way, really, but just to close down here. And I like it because it's within this channel. But the thing I want to be wary of is just making sure I have room to the downside. This candle will just, if it closes kind of down here, I would take it if I get the signal. Let's go the other way. And if I do take a trade for my NLTS strategy, I'll be entering it on my chart to the left. Doesn't look like we're headed there right now. I'll be taking on the chart to the left. You'll see everything on this chart once I'm in the trade. But you won't see me move the order in place until I'm already in it. Or I should say until it moves the line, you'll see it drop into position. Seems like we're trying to work out of this area. Even if there's a break, there's potential for it to come back and give me a trade. So we'll see. All right, so doesn't look like it's headed towards what I was looking for. So I'm going to take this order off.
Order canceled.
I'm not 100% sure about that channel, but I'm going to leave it just in case. There's news later at 11 FOMC minutes. I don't think that usually is a big deal because it's usually just reporting what we already know, as far as I understand. I'm going to pause. All right, so the conditions have changed down here. So I don't think an OJ is a viable trade to look for at this point. Again, it's just a lot of range stuff. Really since the open, since I've been on, it's the majority of the time we've been in a range with one move down and one move up. And I know my strategy is not built for ranges. So on days like this, I have to just remember that and be patient. My strategy is all about finding trends, going with momentum, and then also reversals, going with the momentum of reversals. This is not good trading for me. I'm going to really try to be more disciplined. I think a couple weeks ago, after I had some losses, I really tightened up. And even before my losses, I really tightened up when I got close to the payout threshold, to qualify for a payout. I tightened up, was passing on a lot of trades. And then I think I'd get into a trade and lose. And I'd skip so many good ones. And so it's kind of this thing that happens with trading. And then in the past couple of weeks, I think I've tried to loosen up and be more aggressive taking trades, but I've taken more losses that way as well. So I have to find the balance in between to be aggressive and take the trades when I see them, but don't be overly aggressive, that I'm not being disciplined and not being patient to wait for the right context for the right setups. And I think for me, the market has just been really difficult for the kind of trading I've been doing. And if you go back to the beginning of my first videos on YouTube, where I was getting, kind of one or two trades every day, but I was winning. Most of my trades were working. I think the market conditions have just been pretty different since then. So I never knew how it would affect me when market conditions change. And so it clearly has. So I just need to either adjust or find ways to find new setups with this market condition, or I'm not sure, but just got to be patient here. So now we're finally making this move down that I was waiting for, but I'm not going to have the setup I was looking for or hoping for. But my expectation is for it to get down here, at least retest this line, if not get to the measured move. All right, I'll pause here. Just watching here. I'm expecting a retest of the lows. We have a first entry long, second entry long. I'm just thinking, am I going to get sucked into a pot trade again? It'd be kind of a strange looking one. I don't think I can touch it. I also don't know if I'm missing some kind of trend up. Doesn't look like it. Maybe that's a trend. So then if you have that, you need the retest of the high of this first, at the very least, before it goes down. most likely. So I won't take a PATS trade, and I don't have a Nlts trade, so pausing. So here's that failure of the second entry long. Yeah, I'm not going to take it. It'll probably work. It's right into this potential support right here, but you have the context to say you should reach a new low. I don't think this is really valid, honestly, but maybe it is. But I'm going to try my best to not take PATS trades for now, since I have a abysmal record with it in 10 trades. Like, way worse than I was doing just on my own strategy. I might completely shelve this. I'll leave it for now. Leave the stats up. But if I just decide that I'm not trading it anymore at some point, then I might just remove these stats eventually. All right, so I don't have any setup, so I'm gonna, other than the failure that I'm not taking, so I'm gonna pause. So here's one of those situations where you get a failed second entry long on the path setup, hit a doji before the signal bar, and it looks like it's just turned into a tight range. And who knows, maybe the range will turn out to be all the way up here, but it looks to me like this thing's gonna get stopped out, I'm guessing. Potentially. So maybe that's not even valid. I mean, it is kind of weird looking if I just take it off. It's just more chop. It's like the rest of the day has been, we were in chop all through here. I had to move down, chop, move up, chop, or move up, move down, chop. And, it's just, I don't know. When I first learned how to trade PATs, most of 22 was good trading. 22 and 21. It was like there was a lot of setups, and they worked. And it just seems like PAT's setups isn't so great anymore. And when you watch Mac he showed his trade recently, live trade, and it was like a trade that he wouldn't teach you to take. It was a short, second entry short above the EMA, right into the EMA. There was a doji. It was like a bunch of things that you say it's not a perfect setup. The only thing it had going for it was context, the way he drew his channels. But would we draw our channels that way? I don't know. So whether this wins or works, it's good that I stayed out of it. And I'm really just going to try to take Nlts setups. And if there's no setups, then I'm hopefully not take any trades. But still waiting. I took a step away for a little bit, but that failure, first entry, second entry long failure, finally failed and got stopped out, which is kind of what I thought could be a possibility there. And now we're going up. So I think that other channel that I did draw, I guess, just wasn't valid. Break, new low, going the other way. Still no setup for me yet. I haven't been here, but be back at it in a second. So taking off that larger channel actually made me think it's possible that this is a channel, which is what blocked the failed second entry long. You had a break. Now you have a new high of this. seems somewhat possible. And if that's not, then let's see if there's something like this. This is. Oh, sorry, sneezing attack. Yeah, I'm still sick. Can't get over this cold. It came out of nowhere. So you still have the measured move as potential, but it's looking less and less likely it's getting there, which means thinking more likely it's going the other direction. And price action has really slowed down. Thanksgiving holiday week. So just no, I mean, literally not a single setup on the Nlts chart. And super slow. It's tough because I know I have limited days. You know, these accounts are gonna expire next week. These two, and then this one expires in December. These all have a month. So it's, you know, if I don't get trades, these have no chance. I'm not going to renew them since they'd be 80%. I think the day they renew, the day after that is when the 90% ends. So there'd be no reason to buy or to renew these. And I can buy two for 90%. And I'm not even sure I need to buy two for 90% because I already bought these. So just see how things go, because I'm going to definitely have a full week where I'm not trading in December, plus the Christmas holiday week, whatever days off there are in there, and then New Year's. So there's a lot of missed days coming up. So it's kind of hard to, with the strategy where you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for a setup, and getting this kind of price action, it's just hard to even have a chance to pass evaluations. All right, I'm pausing here. So just out of curiosity, I've put a NQ tab on my chart. I'm not sure what tick chart I would use on it. I just want to see how it moves. And I put one to the left as well, so I could kind of just tab back and forth and just kind of see what the NQ is doing and see if there's any possibility for me to kind of follow both. Maybe I can look for NLTS setups on NQ as well. I'm just, the only thing I'm not sure about is what tick chart I would use. So I kind of have to watch it for a while and test it out and see if it looks like something viable. Also, I don't know. I'd have to change the amount of ticks I go for depending on which chart I'm trading on. So that's a thing too. So some things to think about and figure out. But considering ES just hasn't been giving me a whole lot of setups, and it's forcing me to, kind of take trades I don't want to take. It's not forcing me, but I'm not having the patience. At least maybe this will keep me busy to go back and forth and, study that. And over time, maybe I could find potential trades for NQ. That would be good. More opportunities. All right, that's it for now. Still not seeing anything on the ES chart. Okay, so here's a situation where I've got a maybe channel up, break new high. And I've also got this channel up, break new high. And this bar is a BT. So in this case, I am thinking about taking BTs from now on to enter for a long here, except because I have two breaks and new high, and we're right at the opening. I'm not going to take these trades yet. I'm going to wait and see how reliable they are when I'm seeing a break and new high already. If they seem to mostly work, then I can consider taking them in the future. Also, if this bar closes bullish, it also could potentially be an LO, this bar, to enter on the next bar above it. But for the same reasons, I'm just not looking to take these trades yet. And I think that's partially the hard part about, now I'm just seeing this potential channel too. But that's the hard part about using these channels to trade my Nlts system, because it seems to like keep me out of a lot more trades. Now, is it going to save me? I'm also tightening my stop on my Nlts strategy. So the stop would just be below this bar, which would be a 5 tick bar. So 7 tick risk. But for now, I'm just going to observe these. I'm really going to do my best to not even think or count max Pat's entries, because they're doing nothing good for me. It hasn't helped me, so there's no point in continuing that. I'm really considering to just put it away. So if I don't have the stats up there, then I can't even say, oh yeah, it's something I can take, just focus on this. So, I want to be transparent in my trading, so I don't want to like fudge the numbers, So maybe I'll have the overall YouTube stats up here, and then just keep the NLTS Strat stats. Maybe I can just get rid of all of the setups for Pats and just say, okay, I took 10 trades with Pats and that was 30%. And I'm only taking these from now on. Something for me to think about as this year wraps up very soon here. All right, so let's see. The high here, I would have been in at 48.50. And the high so far is 49.25. And this is an LO, by the way, too. So if it went 2 ticks above that bar, that would be a BT and an LO. Now, the reason why I'm thinking about taking BTs is because if a BT is followed by an LO and the LO works, well, then by the very nature of it or definition of it, that means the BT worked already when LO is still working. So that's why I'm considering taking them. All right, so LO just got triggered. So BT skipped because there's a break in new high already. And then same for the LO. I'll just say BT and LO. All right, so the BT 48.50. It's only gone up to 50 so far, so it needs to go up 2 more ticks. Oops. And there was no room to the open for the 8 ticks, so it would be good for 5 ticks so far. Also, again, very low ATR, only 6.5 ticks. So if I were to take a trade, maybe I should be looking for only 4 ticks right now. Seems like the right thing to do. Right, so it looks like these would have worked, which makes me think that I should remove that. I don't really know. That doesn't work. So one more tick would have guaranteed me 6 ticks on the BT. The LO had been at 49.50. So it's only gone 3 ticks so far. So it looks like these are both working. Am I missing something from here? So the first entry short, second entry short, and the BT and the LO after a second entry short. So would the LO have worked yet? 49.50 is the entry. It's only gone 4 ticks so far, but the BT definitely worked already. 48.50, 50.50. So I would have got 6 ticks on that one if I went for 6 ticks. Smarter move would be going for 4 ticks with this low ATR. So in situations like this, it's, do you put out of mind if you did have a channel break, new high already? Or do you just not do this anymore? And do you just do the NLTS strategy that I did originally? All things to think about. Yeah. Unfortunately, I just don't have time to backtest much these days. Plus, I've been sick. I didn't do any backtesting over the weekend because I was sick. All right, so this looks like it's on its way to working for the LO too. 49.50. So it's worked for 4 ticks so far. Looks like this channel is going to be pretty legitimate. I'd say this measured move isn't happening anymore, which is another reason to think it's going up. It's crazy to think this is all the PA for the day since the open. It's just like really nothing. And since the open, we're break even. 136 bars in 3 hours. It almost makes you wonder if it could be more like that, and this could be a failed breakout. So we'll see. These were the first NLTS setups I've seen all day. Would this have worked yet? 49.50 is the entry. 2 ticks away from the 8 or 6 tick scalp working, but 4 ticks already worked. All right, I'm going to pause here. Yeah, I got to ask myself, when you don't see a setup all day and then you get one, do you just have to take it, you know? But of course, that is how I get losses lately too. It's like you're desperate for a trade, and then as soon as you take it, that's the one that doesn't work, right? You don't take it, you see them work. I think, again, it's that balance of how aggressive versus how disciplined and patient you want to be. You want the perfect setup, or you willing to take a setup that is maybe just okay. The other thing was this was an inside bar, which I don't have enough data on BTs to know if inside bars make a difference in the long run or not. So I'm definitely some reasons to stay out of this, given that there was this resistance here potentially. And no key entry point or anything, and a break new high. So a lot of reasons to stay out, even though it worked. All right, just watching here. I just flipped to the NQ. I'm seeing my first BT live right here off this bar, which is an inside bar. I'm watching that 1050 tick chart on it. This bar is a 27 tick bar, so risking $145 for an entry on that. I'm not sure if I would use that or not, but so the high is, you'd be in at 975. You got up to 77.75. So 2 3/4 points. So just flipping over there now from time to time to see. And who knows if this tick chart's the one I should watch, but just to get an idea. All right, I'm going to pause and go back to the S. Just looking at this, and take this off, even though there was a break of that and new high already. But I'm seeing if I use this as resistance, it's getting stopped right there. So I'm going to keep my eye on that, keeping the idea of what if this is just potentially a larger range for the entire day. And I'll stop again. All right, and now it's just poked its head out of there. I think I had something drawn earlier, but now I'm wondering, might we have something like that? Just gonna keep that in mind, but remove it for now. too sure what's going on. It's 9:45. This news is at 11. I don't usually feel like the minutes has like a huge crazy reaction. Seeing this go up. It's hard not to wish I took these, but I understand why I didn't. Just hope that I don't get suckered into something later. That's part of my psychological issues I'm dealing with lately is when there was a trade on the Nlts and I skip them and then I take something else later that loses. And a lot of times I take something that's, if these were questionable, I end up taking something even more questionable later. So I go, oh, well, that was working. Worked then, it'll work again. And then that's when I take a loss. So I'm just going to try to behave myself here and not have any screw ups like yesterday. This should have been about $300 better. Should only be $200 down from the starting balance instead of $500. But these are all lifetime. Also, if anyone doesn't know, I did lose my number 3 yesterday, B account. But these are all lifetime, so there's no rush necessarily. The only rush is wanting a payout before anything happens to Apex, if anything ever would. So it's really just the evaluations have, deadlines because I'm not going to pay for 80% to renew these. And I'm definitely not paying 50% to renew the free account, which was number 24 I got for free. So that's why I already paid for 90% on a new one since I'm doing so poorly on that one. All right, I'm going to pause. All right, so it's seemingly broken out of this. Let me just remove it. It's not helping me. Doesn't seem like there's anything there. I guess this makes the most sense. But now we have somewhat of an overshoot maybe. Not really sure. I just officially made the decision that I don't want to take Pat strategy setups anymore. So I'm just going to show I was 3 out of 10 for that strategy when I tried it and it was terrible. And I'm going to leave it as part of the overall stats and just say, yeah, I tried it. I was 30% when I came back to it. Yep. And I was just watching something. But there's no point in keeping track of the individual setups because I just sucked and I'm over it. I don't want to trade it anymore. So I'm going to skip anything that's a Pat setup. I'm not even going to try to count or look for entries other than if I think a NLTS strategy setup is going to occur near it. And then that could have some influence on me, whether I take my strategy setup or not. But I think it's pretty clear. At least I'm 75% on my own strategy that I came up with myself. And when I'm trying to follow paths that I've been working at for 3 years, it's just, I do well for certain periods of time. Maybe it's just certain market conditions. And then it just falls apart for me. So I really want to just focus on NLTS and give it, every chance to develop. So right now I'm 39 wins out of 52 trades and 75%. And, I hit a bad week and I started changing things. And I think that's just made things worse for me. So that's my decision. I'm going to stick with it. And having said all that, I've only seen 2 setups for mine, and we already talked about it. So sitting back and relaxing for now. Just looking back at NQ for a second. Where was it? This BT would have ultimately worked. It came close to coming down. So depending on how much I'm trying to scalp for, who knows whether it would be more than what this was, 2.75 points, or go for more, but clearly it worked. There was also another BT, this one. Although did it go 2 ticks above this? 76.50. Yeah, it went 2 ticks. So I could have entered that one as well. Would have worked. So I'm just going to keep watching NQ. Maybe NQ's where the action's at for me. And I just need to figure out what my scalping strategy would be. I just switched over to the NQ for a second. This is a PB. So if it triggers 2 ticks below it, D150. So looks like that's triggered. These bars are really big, bigger than it seems like. So I'll be interested to see if the PB works here. And then an ES. ES, there's no setup right now. So being at 51.25. And this has already gone to 48. So you get 2 points for sure so far. And my stop, I would just use the candle at the top here. So would be risking a 30 tick bar. Look at this thing. So I don't know, maybe scalp and runner. Start off with just 8 ticks like I'm doing. And then see if I can get a runner. I've never watched NQ for the Nlts strategy before, so this is the first time I'm ever observing it. And I just chose 1050 ticks so that there's kind of a comparable decent amount of bars that I'm used to. So that one worked. Now, I wouldn't have been looking for a long because to me this looks like a trend up. Should be looking for a long. So that's interesting. Going back to ES. Just kind of have the same idea on ES. It's in the area where a PB would be for ES, but doesn't look like the rules will be in place for it. One rule will not be there, not even including or thinking about my trend channels and thinking that we're going up. By the way, it makes me think too that, it's just a failed breakout of the range we've been in. So no PB yet. It would have had to be lower. Okay, just in
Order
case, I'll get
submitted.
an order ready. Just in case. I don't think all the rules will be in place here. I got my order ready to the left, on the left chart. It would have to close bearish. So it's not going to be this bar. First entry long, second entry long. Maybe it's like that. This actually gives it more of a chance to become a PB. Where it is now. That one extra bar might have given it time to get the indicator in alignment. What's NQ doing? NQ's kind of looking similar. NQ already had that PB that worked. Also got to keep in mind that this news is coming up 30 minutes. I mean, I was really expecting a retest up here, but maybe that's just not valid. Maybe that's not valid. Maybe it's like a break new high. I don't know. But we are back into the original trading area of the day. This seems confirmed. That failed second entry long was right on it, a little away from the EMA. Not considering those anymore. So this looks to me like it was legit. In which case you expect a break and new low for that. Of course, I don't like when you have a breakout and it gets to the midline and bounces, because sometimes, this might break, retest the midline again, and then go back up. I've seen that happen a lot. And if this is a PB now that has to retest this and it triggers here, I've lost on those before. So now I have to probably skip a PB in this situation, because I've done that before. It's like I didn't take a failed second entry long like you have here, and then waited for the PB. PB was too low, made the new low at the same time of the entry, and didn't work out. Or maybe I got scared and lowered I think that's what it was. I lowered my stop when it started to bounce the wrong direction. It eventually would have worked, but I took myself out of the trade. So trying to learn from past mistakes. This close isn't going to be low enough for PB. So yeah, this is going to be the problem. If it comes down here and closes down here, by the time the PB triggers, it might already be retesting the low of that. All right, so it's not happening when and how and where I thought it would, so I'm going to pause here. Take this order
Order
off.
canceled.
All right, at this point, we're getting close to the news, so I'm going to go take care of a few things, take a break, and I'll be back in a little bit. All right, I just got back, and this kind of did what I was kind of thinking. Get to the midline and bounce back out. I mean, it's not really a totally legit range, but I wanted to just mark the area that the trading had been in all day. And I'm not really sure what's happening. Maybe this is the retest of this high because I had that other channel. Maybe it was legit. Unsure. I am considering, I was just thinking about it. We have this high impact news. I've got 3 accounts that are not in great shape, and I might just YOLO them on the news. So I'm going to get an order ready just in case and take my PA accounts off and just make sure I don't do anything stupid. All right. I got just this account, and this account set up for a YOLO. Not sure what direction I want to go. $54.25, 54. It's kind of a weird. Let's see what happens here. Doesn't seem like it's that very volatile. So I don't know. Huh?
Order submitted.
Should I do this? Unsure.
Order submitted.
Just gonna play it for here. I'm just YOLOing because why not? No reason not to. I don't really care about these accounts. The only thing that makes sense to me is just go for that little and then see if there's something else to do. Uh-oh. If I get this much, it'll give me a boost on these. If I can pull that off, give me a better chance to do something with them. Super close. Just gonna guarantee that.
Order filled.
All right. So the news wasn't that intense, so I just decided to take what little I can get, just a boost, and no strategy whatsoever other than just thinking we're going to retest the high. That was literally my only thought. And also because of this kind of range. So it looked like a test of that, bouncing up. Who knows what's going to happen from here, but that's just a YOLO on the news. No strategy. I trade better this way than I do with a strategy. What did I get? So, yeah, it wasn't even that much. I only got less than 2 points. 1.75. 1.4. All right, so I'm not going to include it on my strategy stats, obviously, but at least gave myself a little something. I traded 8 contracts on this, and traded, I think, 2 on this and 4 on this. So at least I did something today. And, maybe it gets a little bit higher, but I like my play here. It's like, the idea is just to pump this up and give me a little bit of a chance to do something with it. obviously I got a long way to go on all of them. And these expire, I believe, next week. All right, pause here and reset up for my normal strategy since the news was not very exciting. All right, I just removed the commission column. Just don't see a real point to having them. And if it's MES or ES, you have to change it, and kind of going back and forth sometimes a little bit, depending on the situation. So just to make it simpler, keep it like that. But yeah, I was hoping to get more out of this, but I also just wanted to take what I could get, and I'm gonna have to just get aggressive with these because they're all gonna be, well, this one has more time, but it's just there's not a lot of trading days coming up. So especially for this, I've been trading tomorrow and then Monday and Tuesday, and then I think it's expired if I remember correctly. So I'm just going to get aggressive with those. And meanwhile, let me see if I find a setup the normal way. It's funny, I just realized I did make a mistake, which was I meant to do this backwards. The 50,000 was supposed to have 4 contracts, and the 25,000 was supposed to have 2 contracts. But I guess I did it backwards. So the $25,000 account did better. I meant to do that in reverse, but whatever. It's fine. All right, market's just super slow, not much happening. I did just decide to put kind of like a discretionary column, and because I think from time to time I might try things over the course of the YouTube channel that doesn't fit inside of a strategy. I might try new things that aren't necessarily my NLTS strategy. I'll leave the PATs here for a little while and eventually drop it since I'm not trading it anymore. But I like to just have that as, okay, I have 10 trades. I won 3. So that's a good benchmark. Out of 52 trades, I've won 39 on an LTS. Discretionary trade, which is my news YOLO, I'm 1-0. And so I've included that in my overall as well, since it's a trade I took and it won. So, but I really am going to try to focus on NLTS overall and try to take good quality setups. The thing is, just with these Apex accounts, when there's a 90% deal and they're going to renew for 80%, it just doesn't make sense to keep them. It's like you YOLO them, win or lose, and then if you need a new account or you want to have that same amount of evaluations, just buy a new 90%, you saved half the price. So that does come into play. It's literally the reason why I'm even up to 27 accounts now for the most part. I think I'd be up to like 15 or 16 is my guess if I wasn't canceling accounts because they have a better sale going on. I would just let them renew and they would have the same number. Even if I burned them, if they blew up, I would just let them renew at the beginning of the next month on the renewal, and I'd have the same number account. So that's just part of the game, and I'm just gonna focus on what I'm trying to do here. And part of the game is to build up evaluations and get them passed so that you have backups for the PAs. And then once you have enough backups for the PAs, you can be more aggressive. And at this point, I still only need 1 max payout to be profitable for all of my Apex trading, for all 27 evaluation accounts, as well as all 5 PA accounts currently. So that is just the current goal, is to get my money back and a couple $100 in profit at this point, if I can pull that off. If I pass any of these evals, obviously my amount that I paid into Apex goes up a little bit. So maybe a max payout ends up just being break even at that point. I also bought the copier, Replicanto, so that's not even included in what I'm considering for my Apex trading. It's just limited specifically to my Apex fees I've paid. And once I'm break even on those or profitable on those, then I'll factor in the replicanto. It's like $140 or something, $130 I paid, I remember. And then, so it's, even if I included that right now, okay, so if I got a max payout anytime soon with my current fees that I've paid, I'd be break even or slightly teeny green. So anyway, that's what's making sense for me right now, stats wise. And I'll pause. It's just, this market sucks. I might just literally stop soon, actually, because I'm tired. I'm trying to decide if I want to take this BT right now. 8 tick risk, so 10 tick risk.
Order submitted.
That's not correct.
Order canceled.
Not set up properly.